call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer? Here. Trustee Carter? Here. Trustee Grant? Here. Trustee Tate? Here. Trustee Todd? Here. Trustee Zupan?
Okay, our first presentation, it's to deal with the CDBG resolution of the subrecipient agreement that we try to go into every year for CDBG funding. That being said, we have our illustrious engineer here come and explain exactly. You have a printout of what it is that we're trying to accomplish for next year. So without further ado, Mr. Jim Zarnick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Do I have 3 minutes, Marva?
You can take as long as you want.
All right. It's probably going to take me 2.5 minutes, so it's all good. Good evening, everyone. All right, so we submitted an application last year for CDBG funding. You can see in the exhibit that's before you, this is what we submitted for. We submitted for $400,000 worth of funding. We were granted $200,000 worth of funding, so therefore we eliminated Paxton and Shirley in 222nd place. The remainder should come in comfortably under $200,000, so that's what we are. That's what we submitted for. And then the county turned around and gave us an agreement that the village needs to execute in order to receive that funding and get the $200,000 that we can use to fix up 221st. So as part of that, there's a resolution that the village has drafted in order to authorize the village to enter into that agreement. It's the same thing that we've done for the 15 years that I've been with the village and the decades before. So nothing new here, just resolution, pass it, get the funding, and away we go. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
And we will be putting up the $75,000 from MFT funds, right?
Correct.
This is from memory, so don't quote me, okay? The area around 221st Street, Orion, and Paxton, I got a note somewhere saying that that particular area wasn't eligible for the grant during that time, so are we, because I think it was 223rd that we got the money for, but however, I do believe I got a note somewhere that says that that particular area wasn't eligible because of the streets, because it's 221st Street. So that's not a major, roadway. So is that true or not?
Is that another mic?
So 221st is eligible for CDBG funding. It's a low to moderate income area. 223rd, honestly, I could not tell you if that's low to mod, but that is eligible for federal funding, which is unique in the village. It's actually the last stretch of roadway within the village that is eligible for that federal funding. So that's why we used federal funding to resurface that project.
So you said 221st is eligible?
For CDBG funds, yes.
Any other questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll be putting this on the agenda for next week to vote on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item before you is the resolution that we pass every year for authorizing environmental health inspection services between Cook County Department of Health and the Village of Sauk Village. Basically what they do is they come out And they'll do our inspections, or they'll do the inspection for the businesses in our area, and they'll bill us, and we bill the customer for that. The resolution is before you. This is something that comes up every year, and the price stays the same. The county is charging the same price. I think for $100, it is $100, and we just pass that cost along to the business. And as I stated before, we don't have anyone that probably never did since I've been around to do the health inspection. So it's great that it's not great, but we do have the Cook County Health Inspector to come out and do that. But that ordinance has to be passed every year, and this is that time for that. Are there any questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, would you put this also on the agenda to be voted on next week? All right. Excuse me. We're still in the meeting. Thank you. Public comment. I'm going to go with public comment next. All questions and comments will be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the business of the village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for 3 minutes and may not engage in debate or counter discussion. So someone please put a mic up there. Come up, please, with your name.
Mr. Mayor.
Can you speak up, please?
Renee Richardson. Mr. Mayor, I had asked you the day that you read the letter. You had a letter in front of you that you read about all the comments and whatever you were reading, and I asked you, could I get a copy? I had never got that. And I think that everybody here knows how I am. They have learned me. They really still don't know me. Now, I don't say anything about Facebook or anything else. But whomever, I'll say whomever is on the other Facebook pages, they need to be stopped. Disrespect is disrespect. And I think I can be very disrespectful, but I have not. I just look, I listen. And I think all of us can treat each other with fair respect. But it is getting totally ugly on the multimedia pages. So I'm just saying that I think that if you don't have if you can't tell your people to stop, I would just ask them, be a little bit more respectful when you get ignorant on the media pages. Because things can get totally out of hand. And that's where it's leading to. Now, you may not have had anything to do with it, and I'll give you that. But I think that you can say something to Joe or Rick or whomever else it is.
1 minute.
I'm not saying that they have anything to say about me because I haven't done nothing to them and I don't know them. And I really don't care to know them. I really don't. It's enough that I know you and your wife. That's enough for me. Because I don't feel that I should have to meet anybody that talk the way that they do. So that's all I'm asking. Let it be respectful for the rest of the residents. And as far as the march is concerned, the march was not against you or for you. The march was for things that the village truly needs. There's nothing now that we can do about the truck stop is there. There's nothing we can do about that. Only thing that I would ask is that when it is up, that you maybe look into it to see if some of the village people can get hired. This is the only thing that I would ask for.
Okay, you'll say, you know, your name will go ahead or whatever. Linda Washington, I'm here tonight to talk about cyberbullying on Facebook. We have been here several times with this same conversation, talking about the ordinance that we have in Sauk Village and employees getting on Facebook, cyberbullying, and doing anything that's discreditable to residents or to each other. Joe Wizawazi and the others that's involved in going on Facebook, Juanita Burgess, Steve LaRock, Erica Burgess, all of these people, their names are right here in print, but they've only put their own names of things that they say on Facebook about me and about other residents, talking about the library, calling them stupid morons for having one misspelled word on the library. It's in front of you, all in front of the library, on the library's flyer that went out. It was one misspelled word. They called them a bunch of morons and idiots. The people that came and walked in the march, they listed all of these private citizens' names that came out that have a right to demonstrate how they feel and their concerns for the village, and called them all stupid and called them slanderous names. I've given copies of this to people all over Sauk Village. I'm going to continue to pass it out because to me it's just so childish, it's so immature to take pictures of private residents that have a right to demonstrate whatever they feel is going on wherever they live. And you know, it's just a travesty that Mayor Burgess, you have said about residents and right about me and my family and other residents, the library, nobody is not affected by what they want to say, when they want to say it. And this has been going on for 10 years. This is not something that happened last week or been happening since last month, from Mayor Lewis Towers to Mayor David Hanks, and now under your mayoralship, whoever is not on their side or in their inner circle, they attack them with slanderous and dogmatic slanderous remarks and put up pictures. For me personally, I'm up here talking right now, so I'm talking about me. My Facebook page is for my friends and my family. It's not for your family or for any of your friends. To go on my page, as you see in front of you in black and white, okay, and take my pictures off of my Facebook pages and put other captions, what they want to write about me. I have children, I have grandchildren, but they don't care about that. I can't get it all out in 3 minutes, but I will be back to let you all know as trustees, you need to do your job and uphold the ordinance.
Good evening. My name is Pastor John Pitts. This is the first time I came up here to the mic. And I want to ask the mayor, the trustees, and everyone here, this is something that's very dear to me. And I come to realize my purpose after 7 years of being in Sauk Village. On October 27th, me and several pastors in the village, we are planning a community breakthrough revival. I see, Mayor, that you said the things that we come up here and say pertains to the community. I believe wholeheartedly in my heart this pertains to the community. I'm not getting up here saying anything against anybody. I'm getting up here saying that on October the 27th at Crossroad Church from 6 to 8 o'clock. We will have a community breakthrough revival in this village. When we've tried everything we want to do, it's time for God to move in this village. The other pastors, they're not here. I'm the spokesman. You know, Reverend James is the pastor of Crossroad. The address is 23001 Torrance Avenue. And I'm asking y'all, everything that's been asked of me in this village, I have did it and accepted it. So I'm asking, as the first time being a resident after 7 years in this village, that we went around and gathered as many pastors as we could, and we're going to continue if one even become greater. That my mission is that God take hold to all of our minds and He do the controlling, and that it's time for the Spirit of God to take control. I understand politics, Mayor, and I understand God. But when I read my Bible, the Pharisees and the scribes were the politicians of the day, and they always was around Jesus. They were the politicians, and they were always around Jesus. Whether He followed them or they followed Him, however you want to say it, He was around them. So I'm saying this as a plea to everyone, that you put it down on your calendars and make this a priority. This is going to be about souls being saved, people being delivered. Someone needs to be set free. And this is all I asked, that we come out from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock or whenever you can, that we have an altar call, and that someone, I mean for real, get Christ in their life. I want to thank each and every one of you. I love all of you with the love of Jesus. If you ask me and talk to me, you will find that out. Otherwise, I'll be praying for you. I ask that you pray for me. Thank you so much for this time, and God bless you.
Thanks, Pastor.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
Pastor Pitts, 6 p.m.
6, yes, 6 o'clock. Debbie Williams, Sacrilege. I appreciate everything the first three speakers said, and I especially appreciate Pastor Pitts. That's my church that the churches are coming to. I'm involved in this revival. I am saddened by the last 10 years that I've seen the village go through this divide and this torture. And I see what it's doing to Pastor Pitts. I see what it's doing to my pastor. I see what it does to my family. I see what it does to me. I'm trying really hard to be very respectful of this new administration. But I have to ask you, when you do something, are you doing it for all of us, or are you doing it for a few? Many people have approached this podium in the last 10 years and made the statements to the other mayors. Do you work for all of us, or do you work for a select few? I am trying really hard in my heart to understand that we all were elected for jobs. I was the clerk for 8 years. I put my heart and soul in that position. I went home and I was the clerk. I came here, I was the clerk. And I'm asking you, how important is that position to you? I'm so glad to see a Sauk Talk finally come out. I can't tell you, for years our committee put the Sauk Talk out and it's been gone. But what I'm seeing here kind of, it looks a little personal and political to me. And as much as we talk about social media, and as much as the mayor said we need to stop talking about social media and how social media is talking against his people slandered us for 4 years on social media, and it was okay, he couldn't do nothing about it. But in this particular Sauk Talk, it says, this is the real news here. So forget about what you hear on social media. God knows, if anybody knows, I know, you shouldn't pay any attention to what's on social media because it's a bunch of lies. And it was for 4 years when Sauk Village, Illinois was reporting all of that slanderous information. about the previous administration. So I'd like to follow up Pastor Pitts, and I'd like to also welcome you to Crossroads Church on the 27th at 6 o'clock, because I am trying really hard. I want to work with every one of you out there. I want to work with everyone here. I want to work with everyone out there. I'm not picking and choosing. I chose Sauk Village 30 years ago. I chose Sauk Village. I didn't choose you, and I didn't choose you. I chose Sauk Village, and I will try to work with Sauk Village every opportunity I get. And I've chosen to work in my church because I feel that's the direction I was led in. But now I want to continue to work in my village because I live here and I'm not going anywhere. But I want to just ask you before you go to bed tonight, lay your head on that pillow. Do you work for me? Because I live here and I pay taxes. And I want to work with you. Thank you.
Good evening. I'll be very brief. My name is Mr. George J. Gary. I've been a resident of Sauk Village for about 23 years. My water bill seemed to be a problem. I don't know if the meters went out or whatever. I was here before they installed the new automatic meters. My water bill would normally run about $109, $120 a month. And for some reason, the last two bills that went up to $283.52. And we don't really use much water. I don't even water my grass. So I would appreciate it if somebody could maybe have the meters checked or whatever, or find out who's miscounting or misestimating the water bill. But I'm happy to see Sauk Village really improving. I think I was here when they had about 1 or 2 police cars. So I thank you for letting me speak. Thank you.
Mary Escobedo. I'm here also to talk about social media. How you sit up here and tell the residents not to talk about social media. We can't talk about your people, but your people are out there on social media talking about the residents. Again, the residents that put you in that seat and that put some of you trustees in your seat. And obviously you don't care, but again, you're gonna need the residents before they need you. And as everybody has told you, you need to do something, and you're not doing anything about it. You're letting them control you, and I thought you were supposed to be the leader. And just to let you know, when you were running, everybody said to me, he's gonna change. I said, no, he's not. They said, he's not a good leader. I said, yes, he is. They said, no, he's not. He doesn't know how to lead. I said, yes, he does. But guess what? They were all right. And now I have to hear, I told you so. I told you so. So you really need to do something about trying to lead instead of being led. And do something about social media and quit having your, whatever you want to call them, talk about the residents. Because again, you're going to need them before they need you.
Judy Cast. As far as social media goes, I'm not really as in tuned as other people are. But if they're talking about me, they're leaving somebody else alone, so be it. I'm really not interested in what they have to say. Derek, when you ran, you had a lot of good things to say, and we believed in you. We gave you our loyalty. And you did change. As soon as you became mayor, you changed. You told during your campaign that we did not need J.W. Fairman as an administrator, that you were going to retire from your full-time job and you would be able to handle anything that came through. You didn't need Fairman. But the minute you get in there, you hire somebody, but tack a different name on it, but doing the same thing Fairman did. And even though this person has no municipality training, is getting big-time pay. Everything I see on social media when I do get on it is about that we don't have the money. We need the revenue. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. But I ask you, were you thinking about the revenue when you brought these extra people in and gave them top-rated salaries? It's not right. You're spending money and telling us we can't have things that we see are important because we don't have the revenue. I feel the revenue is there. You're just using it wrongly. And I really have a major, major problem with the fact that our police department is again getting hit below the belt with no pay raise and no common decency raise after the contract is signed. From what I hear, no pay raise the first year, but the second year it's only going to be 1%. You look at that and look at the people you hired and what you're giving them and tell me you think that's right. I will fight for our police department till my last breath. You're doing them wrong. And why do I keep bringing up the furniture? Because besides the pay, they're being treated like dogs. And it's not right. And I will not stop, whether it takes social media or going to the newspapers. I don't care. Something has to be done. You have an HR person that has milked this town to the ground with arbitration that isn't working.
Frank Williams. I have 3 questions. This $10 million gas wash, car wash, truck wash that you put over there, is there any restriction on it?
Ask the question again, we didn't hear you.
Is there any restriction on what they can put over with this truck wash? Second of all, did you let the resident know this is what was coming out? Did you just put it by yourself? We do have a voice in what we want in our village and what we don't want in the village. The main thing is by them being over there, collecting, where do they get the water from, and do they pay the taxes to us? I would not disrespect you that way. I really wouldn't. I would at least look at you. You don't have to answer my question, but you could at least look at me. I know I'm ugly, but you can still look at me. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You is a good guy, but you need to quit trying to stand out like yourself. This is a village. It's a village. And we all live here. Not one of us or 2 of us. And when people are standing up, I would give them the respect. If I wasn't going to answer that, didn't want to, I'd get a tape recorder and put it there. But I would not look down. That's too disrespectful. You're not supposed to do that. And I know you're not supposed to do it. You know better than that. So, I mean, if you're not going to answer the question, that's okay, but at least look them in the eye. Because my family always told me, if you can't look a person in the eye, you're lying. That's what I always been. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay. As far as the first thing, social media, I said before, I will not discuss social media in an open board session. You want to talk to me about what my people, or as you call my people, we have to talk about it another time. I don't discuss, because I cannot control another human being. And as anyone should know, I really don't want to try to control another human being. With that being said, that's why I said I can't control another human being. If I can, things to be. I hope everybody understood and listened to what Pastor Pitts had asked for. Participation. We need more than just that one revival. We need a lot of healing in this village because there's a lot of misinformation being put out there. But I don't bring a lot of credence to it because it's just back and forth hearsay. So I hope everyone that comes to these meetings, we can come here every Tuesday, come on Saturday, October 27th at 6 p.m. to church for the revival and listen. Don't just be there. Listen to what is actually going to be talked about and get involved. Mr. Gary, before you leave today, give me your number. I don't want to put your business in the street. And then we can go from there as far as looking at your water bill. That's something that, you know, we can talk about. I don't do that in an open forum like this. But I will talk to you after the meeting, and then I'll let you know what we need to have. As far as the comment about the police department, they're still in negotiations, so I don't know where that came from, that they're only going to get X amount of money, no pay raise. Well, we're in negotiation. Negotiations have been going on the last 4 or 5 months now. So if it's something that you heard is brand new to me, because I haven't had a chance to even talk to the FOP about what it is I like to see. I haven't even brought it back to the board yet because we haven't even had I brought them the update that we may go into arbitration. That's it. It was no figures. So where you got that from, I have no idea. As far as the pay raise is concerned, I don't know where that came from because it's never been discussed. At least not by me. So I don't know what that is. Mr. Williams, as far as your question about truck stop, first question was, are there any restrictions? Well, quite naturally, there's going to be restrictions. Whatever the codes, they have to follow the code. And whatever the code states, that's those are the restrictions that we have. Did I let the residents know? You're right, I have changed, because I'm tired of every time I try to say something. I respect everybody that comes to the meeting, but I'm also going to ask for respect. And if I don't get it, then I'll stop. Simple as that. So if you feel I've changed, yes, I've changed that way.
You changed from day one.
That's something, as I stated before, I will not go back and forth. See, that's what I'm talking. Anyway, did I let the village residents know? I let the residents know after I sold the land. I let the trustees know that we were trying to sell the land. I let the trustees know after we sold the land what their projections and what the people were going to try to bring in. I believe, and I'm hoping that the trustees believe, we need commerce. We need economic development. We need retail. We need money to come into this village so we can do some of the things that has been talked about. Any kind of commerce, this is going to be something that's positive, okay? Is it going to be competition with existing businesses? You bet. You bet. It is going to be. But that's what enterprise is. That's why they call it enterprise, free enterprise. As far as water, you'll be getting the water from the village. The taxes itself, we will get sales tax on any, just like we get sales tax on anybody that sells any kind of items throughout the village. They're in the TIF. So their property taxes goes towards the TIF. And as you know, we're trying to get the TIF larger. So at some point in time, we could probably ask for more money from the TIF. But right now, we get what we can, and that's what attracts businesses. Class 8s, incentive programs, TIFs is what attracts businesses to your community. We're so close to Indiana, you can spit there. And their taxes and their property taxes are much, much lower. You already know that the gas prices are much, much lower. So in order to bring something like that in Cook County in Illinois, it's a win-win for us. So I'm sorry if you're not, if someone's upset because we're bringing that in. I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm ecstatic that we're able to bring in a business that purchased 32 acres of land to bring it in here to sell what gas or whatever. You get money from motor fuel tax and you get money from sales tax in just that one business. So I think it's a win-win. But, you know, can't please everybody. I'm hoping that that it's going to be a positive. I know it's going to be a positive. And will the jobs, I cannot go, and I'm going to reiterate this, I cannot go to any business in this village that comes in and demand that they hire villagers. You cannot do that. You cannot walk in and ask them to consider, but you can't put a demand on any business that in order for you to do business here in this village, you must or you should or you better hire villagers. That's against the law. You can ask them to do that. You can say, hey, we appreciate if you would look at our villagers first, but that's their business. That's their business, and they can do. That's what they can do. Has it been suggested? Yes. When I find out that they'll be taking applications, I will pass that information along quickly to our villagers. They told me there were going to be 70 jobs. Okay. I hope so. But the other businesses that are out here, you have WinPack, you have Bear Paint, you have WSI. I've been to all, well, I'll say 3/4. I haven't been to all of them, 3/4 of them. And there are residents that work there from Sauk Village. Did we mandate it? No, you cannot. But they're there. The jobs are there. There's a process you go to. Any job you go to, there's a process. So I'm hoping, and I did talk to them about it, but I can't demand that. You can't demand that. So that being said, I'll accept questions. I'll start with the trustees. Trustee Brewer, you have any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, excuse me, sinus cold. Our first public service meeting in a while will be Saturday, November 3rd at 10 o'clock. So anybody who would like to come out and talk about public service, we'll be there. It's going to be probably, haven't got the place yet set down, but it's going to be Saturday, November 3rd at 10 o'clock.
Here?
I haven't decided on the place. No, I have to let you know. Second thing I want to comment on is that as far as I can remember, and I'm full of sinus today, I don't recall getting a public notice or having a public hearing regarding the gas stations. Just want to throw that out there. Second thing is that trustees are here to watch the money. We have been trying to get information from the director and also from the mayor, and it's difficult just to get reports that we need in order to make an informed decision. There's so many financial inconsistencies that we really don't know how much money is out there. We are asking, well, I'm asking personally again to get the information and not have it come at 5 o'clock and say, oh, I got it at 5:28 and the meeting starts at 7. We need time to review information like that. And we also need to take it home and be able to look at some of the information. If we request financial data from whoever, we should be able to get that. And this has been an ongoing concern of mine, is that we can't get that information from the administration, even though I'm part of it, but we can't get it. There is no transparency here. So with that, I have to let you know about the place, and then I'll give you a copy of the agenda. That's the end of my report.
I'm actually going to pick up on something Trustee Brewer was asking about the other day, and probably forgot to mention with her comments.
Last week, we voted on the de-annexation of a parcel of land in Will County, and I know we had done so with the understanding that we would get an amendment. When we voted on the ordinance last week, it was with the understanding that we would see those amendments in a couple of days, and we did not receive that. So I was just asking about following up on that, since we did not see those amendments come across.
Okay, that, when I showed it to Mayor Einhorn, and told him that we cannot go any further until that, he brought it to his board, so until we see that they voted on it, and their resolution that they voted on it, we're gonna hold off until that time. That's why I told you guys that I won't do anything until you get copies of what they did. Until I get those copies, we're still where we're at. I'm gonna wait until I get the paperwork from Crete. Then I'll put that paperwork to our attorneys and make sure what they did is legal and everything has been taken care of. Then, as I stated, I'll bring it to the board. And then you'll see exactly what they voted on, they being Crete, and then we can go forth with that and go further with that and close this whole thing out. But right now, it won't be closed out until I see what Crete's gonna, and I need to have them put the wording that we talked about into the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, I will have a Budget and Finance Committee meeting here in the Rotunda at 7 p.m. And Trustee Brewer, I did receive the same email you got at 5 o'clock in the evening on last Tuesday, and I did ask the interim director about it, and she said that she would do her best to get these out to us earlier so that way we can review them before the meeting. So she has everything she needs now in order to get us this cash balances, and so she said she'll do her best to get it to us earlier. That's all I have.
Trustee Todd?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to make sure that I had sent you an email that I will not be attending the board meeting next week. In the future, could you just acknowledge that you got it?
Sure.
Also, I have sent 2 emails to our HR person, and she has not responded to something that I'm asking her. So could you please, I CC'd you on it, if she could please answer me on the email I sent.
I got those 2. I didn't know she didn't have to.
Okay. And also, at the next committee meeting, I'm going to be presenting 2 more ordinances. And that way we can go over them. We've been working on that false alarm, so hopefully it is completed and we can get it voted on. And that ends my report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I have no comments.
Thank you. Again, I can't. I'm gonna leave you with this. Please, I'm begging you. I mean, you may not like what I say or whatever. I'm sorry, but I'm hoping that I see a lot more people than I see here at the revival on the 27th. And then also on the 27th, that earlier part of that day, we're going to have trunk or treat. Trunk or treat will be at 11 o'clock, 11:30, I'm sorry, 11:30 at Rickover. So have the kids there at 11:30 at Rickover. We're going to walk from there. They're going to walk from there to the community center, depending on the type of weather. If it's cold, we'll be inside. If it's not too cold or rainy, we'll be outside. And I'm asking all those that would like to participate, please come. Bring your candy, decorations. If it's inside, you can decorate the tables on the inside. If it's outside, you can decorate your trunk. So I would hope that we can get as many volunteers as we can, and people to come out. Again, that's going to be also on October 27th, right here. Well, at Rickover, start at 11:30 on that Saturday. Then that evening, revival will be at 6 o'clock. At Crossroads, if you're not familiar with it, the last church going down going down Torrance Avenue, going south, on your left-hand side. Church on your left-hand side going all the way down Torrance Avenue. That being said, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Second.
It was moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Brewer. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion carried. Good night.